Greetings, everyone. DFG. You have your ticket? You don't have one? No problem, my friend. Just hit the subscription button below. Come on in. Hey guys, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. How many of you guys are familiar with this? Let me show you something here. You know how I like to educate us, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to do it this way because this is a little bit easier to see, and I want you to see it. How many of you guys can see that? How about that? Cages for illegals, not Trump, says Obama chief. All right, and it goes on. Department of Homeland Security, John Johnson visits U.S. Customs and Border Protection, No-Goods Placement Center, June 25th, 2014. Okay, and it was only a few months ago that Democrats were dismissing. So, okay, enough of that. Who are responsible for the detention centers that currently right now that's under fire? That is Barack Obama. Yeah, you heard me right. Barack Obama. You know, the Kenyan. Yeah, the Kenyan. You know, daddy is a Kenyan. He was born outside of the country. Barack Obama. Now, don't get offended if you are an Obama supporter. So be it. But let's talk about the reality. His mother is a Kansan from Kansas. His father is a Kenyan from Kenya. He was born, according to them, in Hawaii. Okay, that makes him an American citizen of Kenyan descent. Okay, that's clear. But when we start talking about, detention centers and all of the children that are in detention centers that are separated from their parents, I'm going to push back on you right now for all you people who are blaming this on Trump. And I'm not a Trump fan. But all you people who are pushing this back on Trump, I'm just going to remind you, Trump's been in office for 2.5 years. There's no way in 2.5 years Trump built detention centers. And not only built the detention centers, there's no way in 2.5 years he could have developed an infrastructure. Detention center infrastructure. In other words, how you process people, where you place the people, where the people are assigned, what happens after that, all of the paperwork that's involved, et cetera, et cetera. There's no way Trump did that in 2.5 years, guys. This was already in place before President Trump before President Trump took office. Some of you guys, if you go back and look at some of my video archives, you'll see President Clinton saying the exact same thing about the border and border protection that Donald Trump said last year. I'm talking about verbatim. I'm not talking about adding something to what Clinton said, or, or expanding on what Clinton said. Exactly what Bill Clinton said. Go back and check it. I think it's 1994, Bill Clinton's speech on immigration. Again, Google it up. All right, all of you millennials, intelligent, intellectual, social media, gurus, just go Google it up. Bill Clinton, I want to say 1994, immigration speech. And then I want you to compare and contrast that to Donald Trump's immigration speech. And if anything, Donald Trump is plagiarizing. He's plagiarizing. If anything, that's all he's doing. He's just copying what Bill Clinton said. Remember during the election campaign when Trump was running and Melania Trump got out there and quoted Michelle Obama, and everybody said she's plagiarizing Michelle Obama. Okay, no problem. Donald Trump plagiarized Bill Clinton when he talks about the borders and what has to happen with the borders. Oh, and one other thing in regards to the borders. Under the Obama administration, 2 million immigrants were sent back across the borders in the opposite direction. Just so you know. Again, check your facts. 2 million. That's a lot of people. This happened under the Obama administration. So now you got Joe Biden, who's talking about how great Obama was, because it's expedient for him to say that, of course. He's trying to galvanize the liberal vote and the black vote. You know what I'm saying? Again, playing upon your emotions, playing on your ignorance, playing on your inability to be able to think critically. Okay? That's what Joe Biden is doing. Okay? But at the end of the day, Obama sent back 2 million immigrants. So all of you immigrants who are listening to me, all of you immigrants who are here in America, those who have come legally, who are really concerned about others coming to the country, escaping, their countries and all the turmoil and escaping their countries, for a better life. Just remember, Donald Trump didn't create this situation. He inherited the situation. Barack Obama created the situation. And Bill Clinton signed off on it. Bill Clinton is the orchestrator of it. Just so you know. So all you guys are talking about voting Democrat this year, or next year, I'm sorry. Just remember who you're voting for. Okay? These guys, again, as you heard me say before, they speak with a forked tongue, both sides of their mouths. You know why? Because they take you, and I'm talking to the immigrants now, those who have migrated from other countries around the world. They take you for chumps and suckers. Then, of course, they always play on emotionalism of copper color people, so-called African Americans. Because most African Americans are sucker for a good, sad story. You give an African American a good, sad story, and boy, you can sell his ass, how you say, lakefront property in Arizona. I'm sorry, ocean property in Arizona. Just gullible, gullible, gullible. But the intelligent so-called black man, the intelligent so-called black woman, the intelligent immigrant from around the countries or around the world, those individuals can see beyond the veil. In other words, they can think beyond the obvious. Three-dimensional is what I call it. They're able to step back, go back, check the facts, and then make intelligent decisions based off of that information in alignment with what they're looking for as far as what their agenda is and what's necessary for them if you want to get their vote. And so I give you those facts, again, so that you know it was Obama and the Obama administration that set up these detention centers that you're looking at today that's causing all of this, dismal and all of this heart-wrenching and all of this agony. Yes, that's attributed to the Obama administration. If you want to attribute something to the Trump administration, okay? So Trump has some, what's the word? He has some I'm trying to think, skin in the game. He has a liability in this situation. You know what his liability is, guys? Building the wall, the border wall. Going back and putting more border patrol agents on the borders. Now, all of that you can attribute to Trump, which, as you already know, he's very unsuccessfully implementing those programs. But if you want to talk about the situation in the United States as it exists today, that's the Obama administration. That's the Clinton administration. The Bush administration. See, guys, they got you looking over here when the problem is right here. All right? It's called a strong delusion that you might believe a lie. Okay? And they're pretty crafty. These are wizards and witches and warlocks. These guys are pretty damn good at what they do. And they're looking for suckers, just like me and you, to drink the Kool-Aid. And just for the record, when they say drink the Kool-Aid, they're talking about cyanide Kool-Aid. And they're talking about that in reference to Jim Jones, Guyana, back in, I want to say, the late 70s, okay? When 1,000 people were forced to drink cyanide-laced Kool-Aid in the name that the world was about to end, on order of Jim Jones, okay? A religious cult lunatic out of his damn mind. But I digress. But back to the situation at hand. You need to know who's responsible for what, so that you can put the blame right where the blame should be placed. You can place the blame right in the lap of the guilty. Again, does Donald Trump has liability in the currency? Well, yes, because he says a lot of dumb shit. The guy is an idiot. But in terms of him being intelligent enough to set up the detention center infrastructure that we see today in full operation, not smart enough. Sorry, you Trump you know, fanboys and fangirls. Your president is not smart enough to set something up like that. That was the Clintons, the Bush, and the Obama administration and their cohorts. All right? So let's just, again, keep the facts with the facts. Again, as I say all the time, go back, vet, and check. Now let's move on. And you start talking about these detention centers, guys. Again, detention centers as they sit today look very, very similar to what we would call mass incarceration or the prison system. The prison industry complex, as some of us know. 2 million Americans in prison. Most of them so-called black people and Latino, Hispanic people. The majority of them. More prisoners in the United States than any other country in the entire world. India has over 1 billion people. China has over 1 billion people. Collectively, they don't have as many prisoners as these United States have. Not even talking about detention centers. So, you know, when you start talking about morals and values and what matters, what's most important, it was Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, 2 Democrats, a senator and a former president of the United States who came up with mass incarceration. It was 2 Democrats who decided that locking people up was the best thing for their children, as Joe Biden said, for his little, you know, blue-eyed, blonde-haired grandchildren. That was their plan. That was their solution to the situation that we're confronted with today. Now, Joe Biden is out there talking about, you know, how that Trump has to go and you need to get rid of Trump and that Trump is a liar and Trump is this and Trump is that. Well, Joe Biden, please remember, you supported segregation. You supported anti-busing. You didn't want your children, as you stated clearly, to be bused into inferior schools. Now, you were a senator in Delaware at the time that you said this. So if your children were going to be bused if they were living in the state of Delaware, that means they would have been bused into inferior schools in Delaware, Mr. Biden. And for all you Biden fans, he was talking about children in his state when he was a senator of the congressman, of that state, and took no actions whatsoever to upgrade those inferior schools according to what he had to say. The only solution he had, like Kamala Harris the other night confronted him with, was the fact that he was not going to support busing white kids into inferior black neighborhoods and those schools that were educating black children. So when you think about it, look at it from this perspective. You know, whites are saying blacks ought to pull, not everybody white, but overall, 70% of whites are saying blacks should do what their parents did. Well, hey, why do you have a white man who's saying, I'm not sending my kids into inferior school systems? So by his own admission, by his own resistance to sending his kids into those communities, indicates that this whole situation, this whole system of racial bias and prejudice was being propagated by this guy. He's saying, admittedly, that he doesn't want his kids to go to those inferior schools, and now you're saying it's their fault that their kids are not on an equal level with your kids. When he said, there's no way he's sending his kids, I'm going to add a little bit to this. I'm going to add my flavor to this, to those nigger schools. Okay? He said, I'm not sending my kids to them nigger schools that are inferior. And now you're saying today that it's the fault of black parenting that their kids are inferior in terms of academics, which translates ultimately to jobs, employment, influence, creating wealth, etc. How about that? And then when we start talking about reparations, you want to tell us nothing is owed to us. This happened in the 70s, by the way, this whole thing around bus segregation and Joe Biden. And if you're up in Massachusetts, you can go back and look at archive video where Bostonians were turning over buses because they didn't want their white children to be bused out of their white communities into black communities. That's a fact. Look it up. Check it for yourself. Okay? So these are the facts. Biden, all you liberals who want to say, we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Reparations today reparations forever. Reparations, I'm sorry.